Hi everyone, Dave Howe at Sales for Life here. It's a pleasure to be with you for our account-based virtual workshop today. Our topic that we will be discussing in this session is social selling, the heart of account-based sales. So before we jump into the account-based sales part, I very quickly want to address exactly what's at the heart of social selling itself. Within social selling, you have three core strategies which make up all of the individual tactics underneath it that sales professionals can utilize to better engage their buyer throughout the entire buying journey, especially when it comes to the introduction and the very beginning of that buying journey. First off, you've got insight selling, the idea of educating your buyer, being a valuable information resource to them, and positioning yourself as a subject matter expert in the minds of your buyers. Naturally, our buyers don't want to work with sales reps. Nobody wants to work with sales reps, but everybody wants to work with an expert, and that's how we can leverage insight selling under the umbrella of social selling to position ourselves as an expert in the minds of our buyers. Next, we have trigger selling. Trigger selling is where we're utilizing valuable information about what's happening in our buyer's world to better time our communications and to lend more context to the conversations that we have so that we come off as well researched and genuine in our approach to do business with a specific company. Lastly, we have referral selling. Referral selling is all about leveraging your network and your team's network to be able to get into difficult target accounts. If you're looking to do business with a specific company, there's no point trying to go in cold if you don't have to. Instead, leverage relationships. They're an excellent way to break into a target account and be able to shorten your sales cycle, ultimately by getting in front of the correct decision makers much quicker. So with this in mind, now we want to talk about how account-based sales is powered by social selling. So what we'll do is we'll talk about one core tactic for each of the three areas that I just mentioned. First, we'll talk about referral selling. Now, under the idea of referral selling, you have a tactic called the sphere of influence. The sphere of influence is an excellent way for you to leverage both the network of your team and the network of your clients more effectively to get a referral into a target account that you're looking to sell to. So for instance, if I've done business with XYZ company, hypothetically speaking, rather than just working with them and never really utilizing them to my benefit for additional business development and sales into other key accounts, what I can do is I can create a web around them. This is an excellent activity to do as a team where you put the name of one of your current clients in the middle and you start to brainstorm the web around them. For instance, are there any competitive companies that are very similar to this client who may also want to do business with you? Are there any vendors or partners that your current client is working with who they could give you an introduction to? Are there any people within their network of past employees who have now moved on to a new organization and would resonate with a success story that you have worked with their past employer? These are some examples of how you can utilize what's called the sphere of influence to identify your low-hanging fruit, a term that I'm sure we're all familiar with, meaning simply the companies that are most likely to do business with you because of their likeness to your existing accounts. So with that in mind, when we take a look at our existing clients and we compare it to the list of our account-based sales targets that we're now going to go after for new business, we want to try and find a correlation. Don't just go in net new. Can you find within the network of your clients any of those new accounts that you're looking to target? Can you leverage your relationship with your existing clients to get an introduction into one of those target accounts? This goes the same for your team. If you're looking to go into a specific account, does anyone on your team have a relationship with someone in that account? Can you leverage that for a referral rather than trying to go in cold and spark up conversations from scratch? So this is an excellent way to power the referral mechanism of social selling and utilize it for your benefit in account-based sales. Next off, we have trigger selling. And under trigger selling, there's a very powerful technique called social surrounding. The idea of social surrounding is to maximize your visibility of your target accounts everywhere they interact online, both at the decision maker level and at the company level. For instance, if I'm going after, same company I mentioned before, XYZ Corporation, right? Hypothetical example. If I want to maximize my visibility of what's happening in that account to find out about all the important events in their world, are they being mentioned in press releases? Are they entering into emerging markets? Are they hiring? Are they firing? Are they launching new products or services? Are they just simply having social conversations and sharing valuable content? All of this is very valuable information for you to have, again, to blend more context to your conversations and to better time those communications. Right? If you see that a company, for instance, is firing half of its executives, it may not be a good time to discuss purchasing your solution. Conversely, it could be the perfect time. Depending on the solution that you're providing, a company in distress may be very much in need of your product or service. Utilizing this type of information to your benefit is going to significantly help your process by making your actions more poignant. So with that in mind, how do you socially surround? Well, you look at the key areas where they're active. For instance, on LinkedIn. Have I gone into either my LinkedIn regular account or my LinkedIn Navigator account and followed or saved the accounts that I'm going after so that I start to see their shares and their online activity on LinkedIn in my home feed? Have I done the same thing with decision makers, either followed or saved them as a lead in my Navigator account to make sure that I'm getting all of their information, all of their activity in my home feed so that I can easily just review it when I log into my Navigator account? Next, we have Twitter. Right? Now, depending on where you are in the world, companies may be more or less active on Twitter. What I can tell you is I have trained thousands of sales professionals who have been very surprised by the amount of value and information that they can get out of Twitter. Twitter is an amazing social listening tool because it allows you to actually listen in on conversations that your buyers, both at a company level as well as a decision maker level, are having with the individuals around them. That could be both professional insights and maybe even personal insights, right? Don't discount a personal commonality, a common interest that you share with a decision maker and utilizing that to build rapport. For instance, if you happen to check out Twitter and you see one decision maker is talking about skiing, you maybe just went on a great ski trip, or maybe you have some new trips that you want to go on in the future. This is an opportunity to maybe spark up a conversation with them about skiing to make yourself seem, or to make yourself more connected to them. The reality is that people do business with people like them. Right? So the more information we have about our buyers, both on a professional level and a personal level, will help you significantly in sparking conversations and or developing rapport throughout the entire buying journey. Lastly, we have the concept of insight selling. Again, positioning yourself as an expert to your marketplace and being that valuable resource in the mind of your buyer. Right? It's a very sought after thing to be as a sales professional, and yet so many sales reps don't bother taking the small amount of time it takes to be an insight seller. In order to break into a target account, let me pose this question to you. Do you think it would be easier for you to break into a target account if the decision makers in that account positioned you as just another sales rep who's going to pester them and spew a bunch of product or service information that they just don't care about? Or would it be easier for you to break into that account if you were perceived as an industry expert by not only that particular decision maker, but the peers around them in their network as well? So with this in mind, we want to utilize insight selling to our benefit. There's two really big components of insight selling. Of course, the first part is finding the insights. How do I easily get insights delivered to me so that I don't have a big manual task load of having to go out and find them anytime I want to share information in a one-to-one capacity, specifically with a decision maker, or in a one-to-many capacity with my network, and both are very important. Secondly, of course, we have the sharing. Right? Sharing best practices, both, again, as I mentioned, on the one-to-one and the one-to-many aspect. So what we want to look for is a tech stack that helps us automate aspects of this workflow so that we can do it in 10 minutes or less. So the technique that we like to use for the insight selling component is the 10-minute content sharing routine. We highly recommend that you utilize this as part of your daily routine. You can work it in first thing in the morning, at the end of the day. You can even do this from your mobile phone while you're sitting in bed at 10 p.m. ready to go to sleep. I often do that as well because all of these tools are available for free on our mobile phone. So first off, we want a content aggregator. For instance, Feedly. There's lots out there. The one that I personally use is Feedly. It's amazing to use on both a desktop and a mobile platform. And the idea is that I can take a number of different sources of content, RSS feeds you may have heard from. I can take a number of different RSS feeds and I can organize them under topic headings. If I want to be known as a social selling expert, for instance, in my industry, I need to pull in tons of content from lots of different sources, because if I'm only reading one or two, I'm biased, and an expert is not biased, or at least perceived to be. So we want to make sure that we're pulling in a plethora of different valuable sources under certain topic headings. A content aggregator like Feedly can help you do that. It's a very easy tool to utilize, and you can set up 5 to 10 streams, however many you want, to make sure that you're staying abreast of the valuable information in your industry so that you can speak with more expertise. And 2, you'll always have valuable content to then share with your network or with a specific decision maker that you're having a conversation with, or maybe looking to have an initial conversation with. The last part of the insight selling and 10-minute content sharing routine, of course, is the shareability. What tool do I use to be able to easily share this content out to my network, to multiple different places at once, with the click of a button, and allow me to future schedule so that I can do this all at one time? For instance, on Monday morning, you may come into the office and you can schedule content for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so that you constantly have content going out to your marketplace and that you're sharing valuable insights to gain visibility, to increase your market perception as a subject matter expert, and to get engagement. Right? We don't want to just share content on a regular basis for the sake of sharing content. We want to do so to drive engagement, right? With decision makers that we're aware of and decision makers that we don't even know are listening that may just come in through the woodwork. So in order to do that, we want a sharing tool. The one that I personally use is Hootsuite, and its browser extension Hootlet. I've also used other content sharing tools like Buffer before, which is also a valuable one. And the idea here is by combining the two tools, Feedly is going to deliver me insights so that I don't have to go manually searching for them. And Hootsuite or Hootlet is going to make it very easy for me to take some of those insights and share them out to multiple social networks at once, so that I'm going to increase my market perception as a subject matter expert. So by combining all of these together, you can have social selling at the heart of your account-based sales strategy. Right? Again, in very quick summary, we've got the idea of trigger selling. And underneath trigger selling, we want to use the social surround process to maximize our visibility of what our key accounts and decision makers are doing online. Next, we had referral selling. Referral selling, we want to perform a sphere of influence exercise where we are aware of who is within the web around our clients and who's within the web of our team members, so that we can utilize those to our benefit to break into target accounts. Lastly, we have the idea of insight selling, positioning yourself as that subject matter expert. You can do so in a one-to-many approach, utilizing a tech stack like Feedly and Hootlet combined together, and you can do so in a one-to-one approach, simply pulling in those insights from a content aggregator like Feedly and sharing them via email or maybe social message like a LinkedIn email. So everyone, that culminates our session on the heart of account-based sales being social selling. I sincerely hope that you got some value out of today's session, and feel free to reach out to me if you'd like. I'm on LinkedIn. Again, my name is Dave Howe, and I am our VP of Knowledge Transfer at Sales for Life. I'd be happy to accept your LinkedIn connection request and have an online conversation. Have an excellent day, and bye for now, everyone.